Hey there! Welcome to a brand new episode of Muzikxpress. My name is Twan, and in this week's vlog you will see my interview with Steve Helstrip about the Rapid Eye classic Circa Forever. But before we start with the interview, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, and very important, also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. Alright, here it is, the story behind Circa Forever by Rapid Eye, my interview with Steve Helstrip. Enjoy! Steve Helstrip is a DJ and producer from York, England. He's active in the music scene since the mid-90s, and he has released tracks under project names such as the Thrillseekers, Insigma, Hydra, and Motion, and Rapid Eye, for example. Since it is almost 5 years ago, after I did my first interview with Steve about the Thrillseekers classic Synaesthesia, we thought it was about time to sit down again for another interview about one of his classics. So in this week's vlog you will hear the story behind the Rapid Eye classic Circa Forever, which came out in the year 2002 via the label ATCR. For the Rapid Eye project, Steve worked together with Tim Stark, so my first question to him was how he and Tim got to meet each other.
Tim, it's funny how we came together actually. So back in '98, I think I moved to Oxford, where I was working for a computer games company. And so I think when we did the interview about Synaesthesia, I told you the story about how I met Andy Perring through All My Kids. Anyway, I digress slightly, but Andy was working with Tim as an engineer in the studio because Tim wanted to make some music and didn't have the technical abilities, so would pay Andy to come and spend a day in the studio, and Andy would try and translate Tim's thoughts into a track. And one day Andy said to me, I work with this guy called Tim, really nice guy, and I can't do this session in the studio, can you fill in for me? I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll give it a go. I've never done it before, anything like that before. So anyway, I turned up at the studio. I was getting paid £50 a day as well, which was like, yes. And a day in the studio isn't like 8 hours. If you're working at McDonald's, no, you're talking like, a good solid 12 plus hours. So I turned up at this studio, met Tim for the first time, and he was trying to do like a bootleg of an Armand Van Helden track. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And it turned up with all these samples, and I spent the morning spinning these samples into the sampler and getting the loops kind of chopped into the right kind of formats. And then I think we'd kind of broken for lunch, and we went outside, we both had a cigarette outside, we used to smoke back in the day. And he was like, so what have you done musically? And I said, I've got just done this track called Synaesthesia, so I played it to him. He was like, oh, well. And that was it really. So we hit it off. And I said to Tim, next time, instead of, working here at the studio, you can come to my place. I've got a bit of a setup. So, why don't we just get together? We kind of hit it off straight away. We kind of bounced off each other and had a really great day. So I knew we'd kind of, if we did hook up in the studio, we'd kind of hit it off. And that's what we did. We spent a day at my place. And I think Rapid Eye Heights or Old Man was one of the first tracks that we did. And that's how I got to know him.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. Yeah, we became really good friends because Tim was working for Marto Distribution, which was one of the biggest distributors for dance music. And I didn't really have too many ins into the industry, didn't really know much about how distribution works, or I didn't know the record labels, and Tim would bring records home every day. Check out this new one from Neo, check out this Positiva release, check out, and he'd just bring, I'd get those, just give me those records. So,
thank you, Tim.
Yes, thank you, Tim. So that's how I got to know Tim. And then Rapid Eye, I was always pretty much the musical mind behind it all, and he would take it off and do the label side of things.
Yeah.
And that kind of works pretty well.
Yeah. So it's also like a story behind the name Rapid Eye?
Again, I did the music. I think Tim came up with the names for all the tracks. Yes, I mean, Circa Forever was a great name, I thought. Raphael, what were the other ones? Never Going Back. I think he came up with a sample from somewhere that said Never Going Back. So that was an obvious name for a track. Yeah. And all the other tracks that we did, all down to Tim, I just made the music.
Yeah.
I just pushed the buttons.
Yeah. Yeah, the first Rapid Eye track came out back in 1999. It was called The Heights. It was also the very first release on Tim's label ATCR.
Yeah.
Then after some other Rapid Eye releases such as Alderan and Never Going Back, you guys released Circa Forever. That was in 2002. Can you tell a bit more about the production process from Circa Forever?
Okay, let me just rewind. So it was definitely done in my studio. So I lived in a little place called Great Rollright, which was very close to Oxford. So it would be the same studio that I used to make Synaesthesia and all my remixes for Chicane and blah blah blah, all those things back in the day. I just got a Nord Lead 2, I remember, which the intro parts in the track were all Nord Lead 2. JP8000 was all over that track as well. I'm sure anyone that knows anything about trance music knows the JP8000. The Virus was another one of my kind of bread and butter machines. And I had a Supernova, and the thing about Rapid Eye tracks was they were very different to my Thrillseekers projects. So a Thrillseekers track, I would never spend any less than 2 to 3 weeks, and I would, it would all be about finesse and detail and layers. Rapid Eye was just like, let's just bang it out. What can we do in a day? Don't care how rough and ready it is. And sometimes that's just what a track needs, and that's the energy that we kind of put out. So they were all, never more than a day in the studio.
Oh wow!
Sometimes I might come back the next day and do another version. So I think with Circa Forever, was it the RE mix, and then there was on the other side was the Iberia mix. Yeah. So I get just a day and a half to do 2 sides of a record.
Yeah, I think there was a story behind it as well. I've been told that the how do you call it, the RE mix?
The RE mix, because the Rapid Eye.
Yeah. Mix,
it's a play on words for remix, obviously.
But that was produced first, but you guys liked the Iberia mix more, so that became the A side. But what did happen then? Because the other remix got played more by DJs.
I honestly can't remember.
That's what Tim told me.
Right, if that's what Tim told you, then
it's true.
Yeah, I'll go with it. Yeah.
So what was the hardest part of the production?
Those kind of tracks, signing it off because I'm never happy. And Tim's like, it's fine, leave it, go with it, run with it. I'm like, yeah, but it's a bit rough and ready. But, a lot of my friends say when I play early demos of tracks, it's great, just finish it. And I'm like, yeah, there's got a couple of weeks of production left yet. And they're like, it's fine as it is. It's not. So I struggle with knowing when a track's finished. But with Rapid Eye and Tim, it was very much, yeah, it's done, let's move on. And so that's the hardest bit, is accepting that it's done.
So do you remember which DJs that support the track?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were so many tracks coming out so frequently back then. I honestly don't know, is the honest answer.
Yeah.
But it must have got played. I mean, I think Gallium Feeling did a remix. Was there Marcus Schultz mix?
Yeah, Marcus did a mix.
Yeah.
There's a Sunrise. I made a list. Like Roger Shaw did a remix.
Oh, thank you.
Galen Beard, Ori Nilsson, Sean Tyus.
Oh, wow, there's quite a few.
Yeah, and also your brother Richard did a remix.
He did.
Yeah. But was it like Free Radical, I think?
He was Free Radical, yeah. I remember the Sean Tyus one now, because he put a piano on one of his mixes, and there were 2 mixes of his mix. So it was the Sean Tyus got piano mix, and the Sean Tyus hasn't got piano mix. And I can never decide which one I like the most.
Okay, but that one became like a Beatport #1. And
it did?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I don't remember which version, but one of the Sean Tyus.
I think the piano one was the Golden Nugget.
Okay, good to it. So yeah, if there would be like a new remix from Circa Forever, no matter what genre, who should remix it then?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I quite like what Cold Blue's doing at the minute.
Yes.
And Billy Gillies as well. I mean, 2 names that kind of saviors of trance in my opinion. Well, from what I've observed recently, the two names that always seem to deliver the goods. So if it was going to be a trance remix, I'm kind of push it in that direction. Outside of that, I'm into a bit of Joris Vaughan. I like that kind of deeper sound,
He lived in Amsterdam, we're here right now, so...
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Camel Fat as well, so that kind of stuff. Anime, of course, and there's just loads of names, but...
Also funny that you mentioned like Billy Gillies and Cold Blue, because we're recording this interview before your gig at the Luminosity Trance Gathering, and they're both playing there, so hey, who knows?
So it's written in the stars.
Do you think there will ever be new material from Rapid Eye?
I never say never. We did actually finish a new track. So we did a track called Centro Fly, and it was gonna get, we finished it in a day and a half, like we always do. Tim came up to York. I was living in York at the time, and we kind of finished the track, and we were like, I'm not sure if it's kind of going to sit well with what everyone else is playing at the minute. So we kind of sat on it for a while and never got released, but it's still there. So I don't know. Maybe we'll.
You could do one of your reconnected.
Yeah, maybe just play it on a show, maybe, and just get a little bit of feedback.
Yeah.
But,
teasing the audience a bit.
Yeah.
So your other projects, is there any new Hydra material in the works?
The kind of is. I mean, in my own personal life, I had a pretty difficult year, as many people will know, and that just kind of hit me across the head, as you can imagine, and kind of the creativity kind of just disappeared. Lots of meaning in life just disappeared. So, the past year has been a bit of a struggle. Mm-hmm. But in the last couple of weeks, actually, I've started to get a little bit more, interested, and I felt like, my creativity was blocked in a lot of ways, but it's starting to feel very much unblocked now. So I'm kind of gushing with ideas. So I've got a lot of tracks that I've kind of started. I've got various stages. I've started and got to various stages. So there's about 20 tracks, but some of them are just
new album.
Some of them are just ideas. Some of them are quite advanced. So once I have 10 tracks that I know I want to finish, I will finish them.
Yeah.
There may be a new alias, which is completely free of genres. So just to call the idea, I mean, I've done some drum and bass tracks, some progressive stuff, some trance things, and some ambient stuff. So rather than just say, well, this is a new Thrillseekers or whatever, I'll just come up with a new alias. And one idea was to call it Libra, as in Libra with an E at the end, which means free. So that's kind of one thing that I'm playing with. So there might be a Thrillseekers presents Libra. And then I found out it may already have been done. So. But that's just to be ironed out.
So I guess it's the same goes for the Thrillseekers, like the project.
Yeah, there's a lot of tracks there, so I'll just find where they belong at some point once I'm happy with where they're at.
You just told us that might be a bit of an issue.
Well, we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes.
So during the pandemic, you became very active on Twitch. I think you were one of the first trance DJs that started like a weekly shows on the platform. Did you have any experience with Twitch before?
None whatsoever. All I knew was that I missed playing, and I missed the community that the trance family is. And people were streaming to Facebook, and they were streaming to Twitter and to Twitch, and they were using this software that could stream to all of them at the same time. So I just kind of tagged on Twitch as another platform to reach people, but that seemed to be the one that wasn't shutting down the streams. Mm-hmm. They weren't cutting off after 20 minutes with copyright claim.
Copyright strike.
So it became very evident fairly quickly that was one of the best platforms to play to. But then I noticed everyone was playing the same tracks, the same 15 tracks that were around on that day. And I thought, well, I've got all these records at the back of the studio. Why don't I pull out the turntables and start playing vinyl? And that seemed to kind of, make the difference. And I was really rusty. But I really enjoyed getting back into it, and I was buying records all the time off Discogs, as you do. Yeah, right. So it was almost like record shopping again, and going back and discovering old tracks, but they were new to me, so it was exciting in that respect. So I was discovering old, new tracks. And then I thought, well, a lot of these tracks you can't really get anymore, so I thought, well, why don't I compile some of them into compilations? So I started doing my reconnected albums. So I think I'm 6 albums in now with that. So that's been a good thing to do. And it's interesting how many people have bought those albums that don't have a turntable, but have since bought a turntable, and they've bought vinyl for the first time. So that's nice to get the feedback. And then you get people that have bought all my albums and they just put them in a frame on the wall because they like the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is amazing.
So whether it's, a lot of them say they want to do it just to support me, or they've been listening to some of my music for 20 years and they've never spent a penny on buying a record, so now it's about time I kind of supported you. So that's been really, really, really nice to see. Yeah. And of course, we're all stuck at home and it helps me to pay the bills as well. So everyone's a winner, and
everybody happy.
Everyone's happy, and I'm playing more vinyl sets as well. So maybe 3 or 4 vinyl sets in the clubs per year. And so that's challenging but fun.
Has it been in the UK only, or also like abroad?
Yeah, I played. I played in San Francisco and Vegas a couple of months back. It was just amazing.
Is it like a hassle to bring your record?
Yeah, it's a real pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But once you're on stage and you're flicking through the records and it all comes back, and technically it's challenging. not every mix is perfect, but I don't think people care. So as long as you play good music, and it's very genuine and authentic. And what I don't like about playing with CDs or USB sticks is that you get the mix in for the next track, and then you've got 5 minutes of doing nothing. So all the eyes are on you for 5 minutes, and I get quite anxious in that time. At least when I'm playing vinyl, I'm actually trying to constantly tweak, and
you're actually busy.
You're busy, so I don't have time to notice that everyone's watching what I'm doing. So that's good. So I enjoy having that focus away from people focusing on me, if that makes sense.
Okay. So during one of the Twitch streams, I think it was in 2020, you had like Mike Push in the studio. Did you guys work on a new track as well then?
We didn't. No, I think he was playing at Creamfields. In the UK, and my friend was looking after him, and he was like, "Oh, mate, it's going to be in Europe." I was like, "Right, we need to do a back-to-back session." And I've got quite a few records at home, and I had a whole section just of my tracks, so he didn't need to bring any records. So I just there's 50 records of 50 of your records, and it's like right, and he picked out maybe 20 that he was going to play, and that was it. We just
that was a cool stream.
It was fun, and it was interesting to see how my mixes are very slow, and I try to be really on it. I'm thinking about keys and slow transitions. Mike's just like, I don't care about keys, I don't care about anything. Just so different. It's interesting to see how different mixing styles can be, but equally as entertaining and fun to watch. It was really good.
In October 2020, I saw a tweet that you were working again with Andy Perring, aka Pulsar. And you guys did a project called Insigma back in the early zeros. So is there any news about that?
Funnily enough, I was chatting with Andy just yesterday. So he kind of disappeared from the scene for a while. He wasn't content with where things were heading, and he decided to. I think he lives in Lithuania now. Or I think it's Lithuania. Settled down with a girl, has a child, and just moved away from the music scene. But then he wanted to come back, so we've always kept in touch. And he said, "Look, I've got a track which may work as another Insigma track." So that was quite developed, and then we started talking about doing more. So we're going to kind of bounce a few more ideas out, and with all vinyl thing that I'm involved with, work towards doing an EP. So 3 or 4 tracks is what we're talking about. We'll see if it happens.
I think a lot of people will be very happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, Andy's so talented. I owe so much to Andy, because he introduced me to a lot of people that were
Had to Tim.
Tim, but also a lot of the equipment I didn't have a lot of knowledge that he had, so he kind of opened a lot of doors in terms of knowledge on people as well. So a lot to thank him for.
So do you think Andy will ever start DJing again?
He had a residency. I think I'm saying Lithuania. I might be wrong. I know it's one of the, maybe it's Estonia where he lives. But he had a residency playing weekly at a club, and I think he got to a point where he just wasn't happy doing that anymore. I was trying to get him to do a back-to-back with me as Insigma for Luminosity, and he just doesn't feel like he wants to do that, but he does want to do the music.
Okay.
So he's got a lot of material ready now for a new project, which I can't say anything about because I don't really know much about it, but he's told me he's ready to kind of launch a new musical chapter. So I'm sure it'll be amazing because he's so talented.
Oh, well, I want to interview Andy for sure. What a legend, So are there any other people that you still like to work with?
Sure. Yeah, loads of people. I mean, anyone that's talented. I mean, like the people I mentioned earlier, like Joris Vaughan. I mean, I've got no connection to him at all, but I love what he does. A lot of respect for his sound. But yeah, I can see myself working with people like that. Moving out of my trance circles, out of my comfort zone, is what would appeal to me more, I think.
Yeah.
Just kind of stretching myself and yeah. But I won't say any more names because we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So the last few years you've been releasing a lot of vinyl. We already spoke about the Reconnected series. It's really good for the vinyl lovers like myself, not so good for my bank account.
No, it never is.
Yeah. So what else can you tell about the Reconnected series?
Well, at the beginning it was the idea was to compile my old remixes and original tracks into put 8 tracks on a double vinyl, because you just can't buy a lot of those tracks anymore, and if you can, they may not be in good condition, or people want ridiculous amounts of money. So I thought, well, why don't I just do it for whatever price I can make, and make a bit of profit on top to make it worthwhile, because it's a big pain in the backside to get this together, license it, do all the mailing out, deal with all, it's a big project. So I thought, well, let's do it. See if anyone's interested in it first of all, and they were. So over the last 3 years, I've just kept that going by compiling some of my more lesser available things that
hard to get tracks.
Really hard to get tracks, and tracks that were never released on vinyl in the first place, so ones that were only digital. So and then I've kind of started looking a little bit further afield. I thought, well, what about some of the biggest tracks that have been massive tracks in my career? So that's why I started Reconnected Anthems. So that's some of the biggest tracks that I've done, and some of the some of the not my tracks as well, and some of those tracks, one example, I put Faye Corson's Made of Love on the last one. You just can't get it on vinyl, and if you can find it, it's ridiculously expensive. So I'm making those types of tracks available to more people that missed it the first time around, and people are really appreciative, because they have no other way to own it on vinyl. And it's kind of had a snowball effect within the trance scene. I got Stu of Lange. I said, why do you do something similar? It's people want it. And then now everyone's doing it, which is great. Yeah. That was really my kind of objective, was if we can make vinyl accessible and enough of it becomes available, then maybe people will actually start playing vinyl again. Mm-hmm. And it's a steady income stream for the artists as well as the people that are putting it out. So
I guess you have a whole list already of tracks that should be all future volumes.
Yeah, I have a few. So I want to do, because tonight I'm doing a Hidden Gems set here tonight in Amsterdam, but so I'm going to do like a compilation of Hidden Gems. So the big, I say big classics, but the classics that people don't play anymore because they're not considered classics, but there were still massive tracks in the day. So I want to do a series of those. And I've got probably another couple of volumes of my own stuff to do as well.
Yeah.
But just to keep rolling it out, and people kind of get that collection mentality, which you fully understand. And once they've got volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, then they've got the anthems, it's like, well, I want them all now. So it's nice that it makes it worthwhile doing. Mm-hmm. So I'll keep it going for as long as I can.
So I also wondering, do you have like a good relationship with the people from your post office?
Oh God, not at all. No. I had to the people at my local post office got so tired of me just dumping, 100 every day. Here's another 100, and like, oh, we can't cope with this. So, and then I discovered another post office nearby where I think they struggled for custom, and they were like, oh yeah, bring us it all. I'm like, are you sure? Yeah, bring it all. So I turned it with a full carload, like three full cars in one day, and they're like, Jesus. Funny story though, the postman that comes to collect all the records from the post office to take them, he ended up saying, what are all these things? Anyways, it's this guy from Dunnington, he's releasing these records. Oh, anyway, it turns out he's a big trance fan, and
really?
Yes. So now he doesn't mind carting all these records back to the sorting office. So
that's funny.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, it is. It's a big challenge to get 1,000 records in mailers out to people around the world, and then of course a lot of them go missing, and it's a bit of a drama.
Yeah, I can imagine it's a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
So where can people order these records?
They just go through Bandcamp. So Bandcamp's like a platform where artists can sell their CDs or other merchandise. I'll just go through there basically now.
Okay, I will add a link in the video description.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. So, what else are you working on right now?
Well, the track I've got going at the minute, it's kind of, I don't know what to call it, but it's 126 BPM, but it's trance, but it's modern, it's fresh, but it doesn't sound like the kind of the progressive house stroke, melodic techno. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to find something that hasn't been done before that sounds like me, and that's one of the biggest challenges in music production, is to sound like yourself and not like everybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
And like I said earlier, I've got a drum and bass track on the go, and I've got all these unfinished things which I may come back to, but at the minute I feel like I've got a lot to say musically. So, and now that I'm feeling a little bit less blocked, I think the upcoming year will be quite prolific for me. I've got my fingers crossed anyway.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. So is there still something on your bucket list music-wise? You did an interview with Muzikxpress already, so go with it.
Yeah, well, that's one done. I mean, for me, the number one thing about everything that I do is music has to have meaning. It's got to change people's lives. I won't put out tracks if they're just okay. I don't see any purpose in that, because there are millions of okay tracks that are released all the time, and I don't want to be part of that. So it's got to be meaningful to me in a big way, and once I'm happy. So I'm quite, back in the early 2000s, I was putting out a lot of music, and it's got less and less and less because my expectations get higher, and the quality control gets tighter. So what do I want to do? I want to make more meaningful tracks, and I hope there'll be a few more to come yet. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the last question: pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Pineapple on pizza? Oh, I don't mind pineapple. I don't mind pizza, but together, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about over here, but in the UK, we used to go to parties in the 80s, and you'd always get these little sticks with cheese and pineapple.
Oh, yeah.
That was a bit weird, wasn't it? But it was all right. I don't know. On a pizza, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, and good luck with everything.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for doing what you do. It's very, very insightful, and much appreciated.
Oh, good. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, thank you, Twan.
Thank you.
Take care.
Alright, that was it. This week's vlog, my interview with Steve Helstrip and the story behind Circa Forever by Rapid Eye. Steve, thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and very important, make sure to subscribe. Also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. And for the ones of you that missed it, a few years ago I did an interview with Steve about the Thrillseekers classic Synaesthesia. You can find that interview on my channel already, and trust me, that's worth checking out for sure. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye!